Thank you so much for joining the Dwellynn show today. I'm your host, Ola Dantes. I've got Todd Atner with us today. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing fantastic. Doing fun. So I came across your company on Bigger Pockets, and I reached out. I wanted to get you guys on the show. So I'm going to jump right into it. Tell us a little bit more about you and a little bit more about your company.
Sure. Yeah, so I guess on a personal level, I live in Virginia. I've been married for about 17 years. Wouldn't be where I'm at without my wife, Amy. So appreciate having her support. And as far as work goes, business, I've been doing building websites for real estate investors for the past 15 years. More recently, focusing on multifamily investors, so building websites for them. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Excited to kind of share some of the things I've learned over the years, with building websites, to give multifamily investors tips, for building their website, whether they choose to go with us or do it on their own. So
yeah, sure, definitely. So I think a good segue is, why should a multifamily investor have a website, right? Some people are out there, they're old school, they're going on handshakes, they're putting for rent signs up, the little old school way. I mean, why do they have to go with technology?
Yeah, well, it can really help, I think, a new investor, especially, but even experienced investors to be taken more seriously. It gives it can give you confidence yourself, knowing that you have a good website backing you, but also it can help other people to really trust you, especially if it's built with that in mind, that, whether it be investors, brokers, agents, you really need to build a relationship with them, build trust, and the website can help them to see that you are serious, you are really in business, and it can, it can really help a lot with getting past that barrier of gaining people's trust.
Awesome.
What would you say about that? I mean, I know, from your.
Oh yeah, I think that's a fantastic question. Most definitely, especially if you're starting out, in your career and just not having a website. For me, it's I'm a branding guy, right? Marketing guy. So it's definitely a death by a thousand slides, or should I say, right? Because if there isn't a website, then there isn't a business, in my opinion. Because how would people go, do their due diligence on you? How would they go find out more about you, right? You can't just go off of word of mouth. Like, look at me, I invest or I buy commercial real estate without anything to kind of back it up. So for sure, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you guys on the show. Something interesting that I wanted us to talk about: automation, right? So how can apartment investors or syndicators kind of use their website to kind of systematize or kind of automate different parts of their business, of our business?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I personally, in my business, I try to automate anything I can because it saves time. But that gives you more freedom and flexibility, to do what you want to do. But some things you can do, for example, if you have contact forms on your website, or you have like an investor profile form, you can have that automatically be, that information sent to, for example, if you're using like a CRM service, like customer relationship management, like Zoho, Salesforce, or whatever, you can have that information automatically entered there. Or if you're using like an email marketing system, like Aweber, MailChimp, those kind of services, you can have that automatically go in there too. And that will automate the follow-up process for you, kind of help to, let's say right after someone fills out a form, they get an email saying, thank you for filling out the form. We'll get in touch with you within 24 hours, something like that. And maybe even a couple follow-up emails after that. So, one of the benefits, of course, is that it saves you time to automate things. But another benefit is that things get done consistently. So, let's say you're on vacation or it's a really busy week, whatever, something, somebody fills out a form, you don't get back to them, they don't have a very good experience with your company. But if you automate things, then it gets done consistently, the same way every time for everyone, and you can gradually improve that process too. So that I would say is an important, reason to do that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So if I'm a Dwell listener, listening on our conversation here, I'm thinking, well, okay, a little bit not, caught up with technology, but I'm thinking of maybe starting a website. What are kind of the elements or the different aspects of actually getting this off the ground?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, one of the basic things, I guess, is a domain name, like yourname.com. I always recommend that people get a domain name that matches their business name, whatever your business is called, have that .com, because it just looks more professional to have that match. So I would suggest even, before you get really set on a name for your business, see if the domain name's available, because, otherwise you can run into problems down the road where, like, you've already established that, and then you don't really have a domain name that you like, but somebody else has the one you want. So it's better, I think, to check for that first, and always go with .com, because that's it's just what people expect. So it's good to good, and also just just some little simple practical things too. Make sure it's something easy to remember, something easy to spell, so people, if they type it in, you don't want them to type it in wrong and get on somebody else's website or something. So just some that's one of the basic things, is a domain name. Web hosting is another thing to think about. Every website has to be hosted somewhere. For ones that aren't familiar with that, maybe use a cloud-based service like iCloud or Dropbox for, and that hosts your files somewhere. It's kind of like that with a website. Web hosting puts your website where anybody can access it from anywhere. And, and so there's, a lot of different companies out there that can do the hosting. And I find that you generally kind of get what you pay for with hosting. Some of the lower cost companies, you're probably going to have issues with your website being slow or going down a lot. Or if you need support, you might not be able to get through to somebody. So that's what I generally recommend, is, go in with one that's not the cheapest, one that has, instead go with one that has a good reputation, and, for having quality and good support. Yeah. And then I guess some other elements of a website, you have the design and the development. And that's kind of where you can get into, I guess, where more of the cost comes in, and where there's a lot of different ways you could go with a website, having it designed, having it built, put together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said that there's a faster way to kind of get your website up. So, I mean, you've mentioned a lot of different elements. So if I'm obviously just a new, investor, and I just kind of want to get up and, give me something, say off the shelf, can you tell us a little bit more about how that would work?
Yeah. So that's the service that we offer. It's called Apartment Investor Pro. And that's what we've kind of designed to make it easier for apartment investors to get a website. Because I've seen a lot of people, intend to get a website, and then they just really get bogged down in the details. They realize that there's a lot more work that goes into it than what they realized. Besides all of the things we've already talked about, there's the content, that you have to come up with. So you either have to write all that or hire someone. And I've seen people, go through all the process of getting a website set up, but they get stuck on writing the content and don't ever actually launch their website. So I was trying to find a way to overcome some of those problems that people have, that keep them from getting a website, or just, where it's such a pain for them. And so what we did is built a service where we've already done all the design and written the content and everything like that. So investors, apartment investors or multifamily investors, can just sign up and get a website. It's actually set up, it's actually up and running the same day. You just have to connect your domain name to it. Of course, you might want to customize it, and that, is something you can do whenever you're ready. You don't have to wait to get started, using your website. It's up and running right away. And so that's what we've tried to do, is try to take away the headache from setting up a website.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's like when we're putting up the Dwellynn website, we had to get all the content down, we had to get all the images. It was a long process. So yeah, a lot of folks might not realize that's a pretty big chunk of work that needs to be done pre-launching. So pre-deployment. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, somebody recently was telling me they wish they had known about the service offer sooner because he said setting up a website was the bane of his existence. He had been spending, months trying to get all of the design, the content, everything. And he said if he had known about it sooner, he would have been chasing me around with a bag full of money because he's gone through it the hard way. So
Yeah,
that's what yeah.
I bet you guys get a lot of stories like that from different clients. I bet all the time, like, oh my God, I didn't know you guys existed. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah, and so that's why I appreciate you having me on the show. It kind of helps me get the word out. Because for a lot of people, it's just what they need, to get their business really launched, and that's kind of the website's kind of in the way of really getting their business going, and so this will kind of shortcut that process and give them a way to be up and running a lot quicker.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if we have a Dwell listener listening in and they're thinking, wow, okay, Todd, I want to kind of get going. Can you kind of map out that process to, from start to finish?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, just, if you go to our website, it's apartmentinvestorpro.com, and that has all the information. You can see a demo site, see exactly what it looks like. We have quite a few different designs available. We are starting to offer custom designs too for those who want that. But yeah, you just sign up, create an account. It actually gets your website up and running right away. But then, you'll just want to connect the domain name to it, and we can do that for our customers too. And then if you want to customize it, that's pretty simple to do too. There's some of the basic things are just like putting in your business name and where you're investing, that kind of stuff. There's just a little form to fill out, and that automatically puts that on your website in all the right places. But then if you want to customize it more, we have a really easy to use kind of visual editor where you just kind of point and click and change what you want to and kind of make it fit your business. And I always recommend people do that, but we try to make it where it's, where it will work for most people as it is. And then if you want to customize it, you can do that whenever you have the time, or we can do that too. So
fantastic. I mean, we're definitely dwelling into the quick runs now. These are going to be quick questions, quick answers. You ready, sir?
All right, I think so.
All right, first question. What makes you unique, Todd, or your business? What is that differentiating factor that separates you from the next guy or the next gal?
Yeah, well, I think, we've, like with our business, we try to kind of take the visual aspects, the design aspects, and combine that with the marketing side of it and kind of an understanding of what investors need. So, because if you go to just a general web designer, they don't understand apartment investing or multifamily investing. And so we do. And so that's, that can really, help a lot, because we've thought of things that you may not have thought of, when it comes to setting up a website that can, really help investors to have a website that will work for them.
I bet. I can imagine. Second question. What was the last book that you read, and what was the one thing you picked out from that book?
One that I'm actually reading right now is called Thinking Fast and Slow. And it has some concepts in it that are really useful for marketing. And it kind of compares the two different ways of thinking, where you have sort of like an emotional way of thinking or a slow, rational way. Because we kind of, go with our gut or instinct on a lot of things. And then for other things, you really stop and think. And so, decisions are often made on emotion. And that's one thing that I guess kind of ties in with what we're talking about today, is people judge your company based on what they see at a glance. And so sometimes, I mean, that's where a website too can really have an impact. People see, okay, wow, they really took the time to set up a good website, and that kind of allays some of the fears that they have, even if they don't realize that that's what's happening. Because we do make so many decisions on kind of an emotional level where we're not even aware of it.
That is true. Really, really valid point there. Final question. Obviously, you're managing, your company. You've got a ton of stuff going on. What do you do for fun?
I really like hiking, like getting outdoors a lot, getting away from the computer sometimes, I play guitar a little bit, not very well, but try to. Occasionally get together with friends and play strategy games and things like that. So just a little, simple things.
Nice,
And
nice.
travel. I guess I like to travel too. I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a quintessential classic. I like that too.
Yeah.
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 If there's a dual listener that wants to maybe connect with you first before they go to Apartment Pros and maybe ask you some questions, what's the best place folks can reach out to you, connect with you?
Well, they can actually contact us through the website, or they can send an email to support@apartmentinvestorpro.com, and we'll get that and, answer any questions they have, and, help them get started however they need it. So
Thank you so much, Todd. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate what you guys are doing for our community of multifamily investors. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
all right, thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it.